Hey, welcome back to another Pokemon ranking video. Today we are doing Gen 3 Pokemon rankings. Now, gonna preface this one. This one is a little different. So Gen 3 is my favorite gen. So I decided why not go ahead. We'll do an extra honorable mention. See, I'm playing that off as if it has to do. It's because it's my favorite gen. It's really because I pulled 13 for the original pool that I was pulling out of. And I just really didn't want to cut any of them. So we're gonna do 13. There's gonna be 3 honorable mentions in this one instead of 2, so we will go ahead and jump into those right away. So the first one is going to be my boy Cacturne. Now I like both Cacturne and Cacnea. I think they're both fantastic Pokemon. I really like all of the cactus Pokemon that have been introduced. I like Cacnea a little bit more. I mean, maybe we'll see him later. But there's something about Cacturne. He's just cool. He's scary. He's dark. He's got like I don't know. I like his T-pose. I like his hat. I love both of their mouths with like the circles. I think that looks amazing. He's a cool Pokemon. I used him in my second playthrough of Sapphire, I believe, or that might have been my first playthrough of Ruby. I don't remember. But yeah, man, I'm really up for some Cacturne. I think he's great. After that, we got another edgelord in Absol. Absol was kind of that like elusive, like, is it important, is it not kind of Pokemon in this game. And there's a lot of those kind of like, you know, special single evolution Pokemon like him. Kecleon has a cool thing. Castform has a cool like idea behind it, at least. You know, there's a lot of Pokemon that are just like, oh, they're mysterious and edgy and we don't know a whole lot about them, and they do this special thing or have this special ability, but don't play in a whole lot to the game. So I don't know. I like Absol's design. I think he's really cool. He's got the little yin and yang thing going on in his head. Fantastic. The last one we're gonna do after that is my boy Regice or Regice. I prefer to call him Regice because I like calling them all the Reggies. But I know that it's probably Regice, Registeel, and Regirock. But anyways, his name's gonna be Regice. If you don't like the way I pronounce that, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it. Regice is my favorite of the 3 Reggies. He just looks really cool. I like that he doesn't actually have legs. He just stands on little sharp things. It's cool, man. I love the way that they did the Reggies in this game. I know that you kind of just walk up to them and that's the battle. There's no hunting, but I don't know. It was really cool to go through the challenges to find the Reggies and do the Reggies. And I don't know. There's something about Regice. Again, I love ice. I love bug. And Regice is just the one that really stands out to me. And so, Regice gets to go on the list. But those are the honorable mentions. So now we're going to move over to the actual list, starting with the worst Pokemon in Gen 3. And I've actually already mentioned who it is, or I've at least said the name. I haven't mentioned who it is, but I've said the name so far in this video. It is Castform. Now, I know people are going to be mad because a lot of people like Castform, but first off, he's got 2 fucking testicles sitting on his chest, and that's weird. Like, the Pokemon itself looks terrible. Regular form Castform looks awful. It's not cute, it's not fun, it's not cool, it's stupid, it looks weird. Its other forms look good. You know, like the sunshine form and the rain form and the snow form, they all look pretty cool, and it's a really cool, neat idea. But the design of Castform specifically is just plain and boring. It's not a Pokemon I like. It's not a Pokemon I want to have. So, sorry, Castform, but you get to be the most shitty looking Pokemon in Gen 3. But now, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the top 10. Again, gonna preface this list. This entire list is my opinion. Has to do with Pokemon I like, that I appreciate, that I found a bond with the first time I played through the game mostly. I think all of these might have been Pokemon that I had a bond with at some point within probably my first 2 playthroughs of Sapphire, which was the version I played mostly when I was young. But all of these Pokemon are just really near and dear to me. The top like 4 on this list probably land in my top 10 favorite Pokemon of all time. Gen 3 is by far my favorite generation. It doesn't have, an immense amount of elite Pokemon, but it has so many Pokemon that are right at that like A+ to maybe like S- level, where other games have a couple SS, couple S+, maybe an S-, and then a bunch of like A- to B+. This gen is chock full of like above average Pokemon, and that's why I love it so much. So Anyways, let's go ahead and get underway here. So the first one we're going to have is Cacnea. Now, I know I said that I love a Cacturn. I love Cacnea a little bit more. Pretty much for two reasons. First off, like the mouth on both of them, perfect. But he's a round boy is number one. I love me some round boys. There's nothing better than just like a cute, round, fat Pokemon that's just like, hey, what's up? Yo, Quilladin? Everyone hates Quilladin. Quilladin's fucking awesome. He's a big old balloon boy. Cacnea is the same way. Also, man, that yellow crown he's got going on, sick as hell. Like, Cacturn's all green, and that's cool, and it looks dark and menacing, but the yellow pop on Cacnea, fire. Dude, Cacnea is fucking awesome. It's just a great Pokemon. And a number 9's one you're not going to normally see on a lot of top 10 lists, especially for Gen 3. A lot of people think it's kind of a weird Pokemon, but I'm number 9, Tropius. Now, Tropius is that weird, he's a weird flying boy, right? And he's so big, he doesn't look like he can fly. He's got that giraffe neck with the bananas hanging down. Man, it's a cool ass Pokemon. He is a giant flying like Bronchiosaurus or some shit. Man, Tropius, he's awesome. I love the design that they did with like the giant leaf wings. The bananas are a nice touch. Got a little head cover. Man, Tropius is insanely cool. And we're really making our way through some grass Pokemon so far, which is kind of new for me. I usually don't have grass. After that, we're going to have Ludicolo. Now, Ludicolo is super sick, man. Like, Lotad, kind of on the down low, kind of boring. Lombre, kind of weird. But Ludicolo, man, he's awesome. You know, he's just having a big party. He's just like a fucking big pineapple. He's just a big happy pineapple. And he's so happy, and he's got the dance with the big fucking duck mouth, man. Like, Ludicolo is just always having a fun time. And like, I used him in my first playthrough, and I actually did end up putting him to the PC for another Pokemon later on this list. But I had a Ludicolo through my first playthrough. And I don't know, man, just loved Ludicolo. Thought he was super cool and super fun, and I'm happy that he's number 8 on the list. So moving up to number 7 is another Pokemon that's green, which if you haven't caught there's basically 2 colors on this list up until like the top 1. But after that, we're going to have my boy Flygon. Now, Flygon ends up on a lot of these lists. It's a super cool dragon. The whole line is great. Vibrava is not the best. I love Trapinch. She's got that big round mouth, man. Flygon looks so fucking good. And I'm going to just adjust the music volume, maybe. Nope. There we go. But I don't know. I love the design. I love the color scheme. It's got a couple different good greens with that nice soft red in it. Man, I don't know. Everyone loves Flygon. Flygon ends up on everybody's list because he's super cool. He's got a great tail, the cool head thing with like almost like goggles for eyes. It's great. The one thing I wish his wings were a little bigger. It makes it look like it's really difficult for him to fly because his wings are so tiny compared to how big his hips are. And I love big wings, like in the back of a Pokemon, these like big, aerodynamic wings. Super cool. But Flygon number 7, and like, man, this list from like 10 to 1 is all very close. Like, it's not as spread out as other ones where I'm like, well, I guess I could put him on 10. Like, I don't really know who else to put. This is like, man, I could, if you were to do a top 20 list, boom, easy. Top 40 list, boom, easy. Like, it's not like I have to decide. There's so many Pokemon I would put on these lists. So number 6, we got another round boy coming in, and we're changing up the color scheme from green to blue with my boy Spheal. Now, Spheal, fucking dope. Another round boy. He's a happy seal, dude. He's just a happy seal. Like, I love the whole line. Celio, also like super good, probably in like my top 15 for this gen. I like Walrein as well. The only thing I don't like is like that he's got like Einstein hair going on. It's a little weird, but man, I love Spheal. He's just a little round man with some sharp, cool teeth. He's so fucking cute with the little ears. He's got the little eyes, man. Like, this Pokemon's great. If you don't love Seal, you got some problems. Like, I don't know. I like Seal Pokemon specifically, but Spheal just takes it to a new level. His name's hard to pronounce. Spheal. It's like an F. Spheal. As opposed to just calling him, Seal, or I don't know. Maybe it's Spaheel, Special Heal. I don't know. Spheal, he's just cool, man. I just love his design. And I love how happy he is. Like, a happy Pokemon, dude, is great. That's what, like, Ludicolo, you got Spheal. It's just a super, like, happy team. But we're going to take it, again, from happy down to kind of angry, edgy, mad boy town with number 5, Shiftry. Now, Shiftry, he's like walking on stilts because he's a cool fucking ninja. He doesn't give a shit. The whole line is amazing. Fucking Nuzleaf is like so cool. He's really like everyone in this line, and maybe Seedot not so much, but the other two really embody that like ninja aspect that they're going for. You know, that little like Bushido aspect. He's got like arm fans almost with the cool nose and just like this nice flowing mane that takes over his whole face. Man, Shiftry is sick. I love Shiftry. I love Nuzzelf, and I love Seedot. It's just a cool, I don't know, it's such a cool design. And like Shiftry was originally on my the first team I used to beat the Elite Four in Ruby and Sapphire. You know, he's super cool. I had a Seedot for quite a while, and I didn't evolve the Seedot when I was a kid for at least a couple extra levels. And then when I evolved the Nuzleaf, I was like, oh man, I've been missing out, because back then I didn't have internet to Google what they evolved into, so I didn't know. Specifically going through a lot of the game, you know, I didn't know what Trapinch was going to evolve into, and I was going to have this Flygon. I didn't know that Seedot was going to become this super cool Shiftry, you know. So it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I really like this Pokemon. I don't know if I want to evolve it. Now, a Pokemon I did want to evolve is the very first form of this next one, who's going to be Salamence. Now, I had a bag on, and I was like, this thing looks weird. It's a weird dragon. Let's see what it becomes. Oh, dude, Shelgon is sick. Shelgon is like an amazing, he looks like he's wrapped in like bubble wrap, and he's just incubating until he's like ready to become a dragon. And so like I was like unsure of like, should I see what Shelgon becomes? And man, was I not disappointed. This fucking Pokemon, I felt ashamed that I had to put it. This is how good this generation is I had to put him at number 4, and he's like my 4th favorite Pokemon overall, maybe 5th. Like he's just so good. I love Salamence, dude. He was like one of the 2 carries on my original team, and I don't know, man. I got a drink of this G Fuel real quick. Throat's getting a little dry as I sit here and gush over my first playthrough of a video game. But my first team, Salamence, was front and center along with Shiftry, and for a while, Ludicolo. Like that, I had a stacked team of Pokemon. And I had known, I can't remember exactly how I figured it out, but I'd known at the time that there were like version exclusive Pokemon and which ones they were. And so I remember trading pretty much everything I could early on from Ruby to Sapphire, because I did have both. And I don't know. I remember Salamence came into the team pretty late, where I had my Shiftry relatively early. But as soon as I saw Salamence, I was like, this is like the leader of my team. This dude is insane. He just like, his body proportions is so good. And I know that sounds dumb, but like a lot of Pokemon have weird, especially their hips. A lot of Pokemon have weird hips. If you look at like Flygon or even Shiftry, like they have kind of bigger hips, bigger thighs that kind of take away from the body. And like both Salamence and Tropius do really well as like angling everything to look really natural. Salamence does everything right. It hits every point I want in a dragon Pokemon, and Salamence is so fucking good. So now we're gonna move into the top 3, and I'm probably gonna gush a little bit more, but I will try and tone it down. Now, everyone has to pick a starter in every game, right? And I didn't know who to pick on the first playthrough until I saw Mudkip, and I loved Mudkip. And Mudkip evolved into Marshtomp, and I loved Marshtomp. And then Mudkip evolved into Swampert, and I lost my mind, man. Swampert, like, I'll say, so like in terms of design, Swampert being like on all fours with the pads, I love the cheek things, the head thing, the tail, it's a great design. But the reason this Pokemon is number 3, excuse me, is because of the emotional attachment I have. Now, the first Pokemon I ever got in a Pokemon game was my Mudkip, and I named it Muddy, and it stuck with me. And like this Swampert became that first Pokemon I ever had in any game, because I was 8, 9. I think I was 8 when Ruby and Sapphire came out. So naturally, I wasn't playing games when I was 5, when Gold and Silver came out. So it was my first Pokemon that I had ever had. And I just fell in love with how good this Pokemon was and how much, no matter what my team was, he was in it. And he learned Muddy Water, and it just fit the whole theme of calling him Muddy and being like this swamp dweller. I don't know. I fell in love with the whole line, but Swampert Man will always be like my favorite final evolution. And then he got a Mega Evolution, and it looks fucking weird. But regular Swampert, 10 out of 10. Fantastic. Now, 2 Pokemon rose above that. And at the beginning of every game, you get your starter in Swampert, right? But towards the end of the game, you get to pick your legendary. Right? So now I know you're all wondering, which one was it? Which legendary is it, right? So there's Ruby and there's Sapphire, and I had Sapphire. So naturally, that makes my number 2 favorite Pokemon from Gen 3 fucking Kyogre. Pokemon is perfect. The design is perfect. It looks like a whale, but it has like the lines, the runic lines throughout its body of red give it that ancient feeling, where Groudon kind of has a similar thing, but not in the same vein, not with the same contrast that Kyogre has. He's got he looks ancient, he looks powerful, he looks strong. The tails look legendary. I mean, it's ferocious. It's a giant whale. Man, I love Kyogre. I was stoked when I found out that this was going to be the Pokemon I'd receive as my legendary. Kyogre is my favorite legendary by leagues and bounds. Probably second to, like, Dialga maybe might be second. I don't even know. But Kyogre, I knew was going to be number 2 as soon as I started concepting this list. But where there's a giant legendary at number 2, there's a weak boy at number 1. If you know anything about me, you know that this is my favorite Pokemon in every generation, through every year. This is it. Corphish. Now, I know everyone's losing their mind, right? Who the fuck likes Corphish? That's a weird favorite Pokemon. I love Corphish. He's got that right amount of like derp and ferociousness. His claw, like the rounded claws with the face. I don't know, man. I hate orange, but Corphish is it. And like, and I've ordered, if I can even get this out here, I've ordered a couple shirts with Corphish on it, especially one that's just a Corphish. Last September, I ordered a fucking Etsy picture that's just a hand-drawn Corphish. Like, I'm not pulling anyone's leg. Corphish is my favorite Pokemon of all time. You know, and a lot of people have pretty generic favorite Pokemon. A lot of people love Pikachu. A lot of people love the original starters or have a starter or a legendary. But like, it's crazy between myself and Dakota. Like, we have such strange Pokemon. His favorite Pokemon is Manectric. It's just not normal Pokemon that you see as like the favorite. And Corphish is everything I want in a Pokemon and more. He's derp. He's cute. He's somewhat ferocious. I love Crawdon, don't get me wrong, but Corphish will always be number 1. So anyways, that is my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon from basically 1 to 13. Cast form, I'm sorry, you look like shit. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what your favorite Gen 3 Pokemon are down below. And remember, this whole video is opinion, not fact. If you hate Corphish, that's fine. Let me know why down in the comments. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next Pokemon ranking video.